Hello everybody and welcome to Plaid Stallion's Toy Ventures. My name is Brian, and I should have dropped this video on Saturday morning because we're going to talk about my lifelong obsession with ElectraWoman and DynaGirl. And this episode is kind of special because I've recently found what I would consider, not to use the word grail because that's overused, but the pinnacle piece I wanted for this collection. And I finally tracked it down, and you know, it's not what you think it is. It's certainly interesting. To give you a history on the character, ElectraWoman and DynaGirl was a segment on a Saturday morning TV series called The Krofft Super Show. That debuted in September of 1976, and it blew my 5-year-old mind. Depending on the time, the Super Show was either an hour or 90 minutes, all live action programming. We had the adventures of Dr. Shrinker, Wonderbug, and ElectraWoman and DynaGirl in the first season, and there were wraparound sketches hosted by Captain Cool and the Kongs. It was sort of like a glam rock band at the time. I think it kind of switched to disco by the second year. For the second year, actually, ElectraWoman and DynaGirl got dropped, and it was replaced by Bigfoot and Wild Boy, which I didn't seem to mind, and a segment called Magic Mongo, which I'm not a fan of. The adventures of ElectraWoman and DynaGirl were essentially inspired by the 66 Batman series. It's almost like a spoof of a spoof, although the show was done deadly serious, and that's what makes the show so interesting. The series stars Laurie and Judy, played by Deirdre Hall and Judy Strangis, two magazine reporters who are secretly superheroes, ElectraWoman and DynaGirl. Working behind the scenes in the Electra lair is Frank, played by Norman Alden, aka Aquaman. During the course of this crazy series, you never get any explanation as to the relationship with Frank or how they can afford all of these amazing gadgets. That's probably for the better. The show is low budget, shot on video, but also just absolutely nuts with the colorful villains and the over-the-top dialogue and the crazy plots. Somehow that mix really works, and it's just a lot of fun to watch this show. Another fun bonus of the show is the guest stars coming on to play various villains. You've got people like former Batman villain Malachi Throne and a pre-Dragos Sid Haig, Chrissy's dad from Three's Company, and Michael Blodgett from Beyond the Valley of the Dolls. Wow. Despite the series only lasting a single year, it made quite the impact and would see some syndication under the World of Sid and Marty Krofft banner in the 1980s. There has since been 2 attempts to revive the concept, the first being from 2001, which featured Marky Post as ElectraWoman, and the tone of this CW pilot changed from the upbeat superheroics to more of a cynical and comedic angle. The best thing I can say about it is it's sort of like a comedy Watchmen, where ElectraWoman is on the rebound from a divorce and she drinks too much. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, and it did not get picked up. In 2016, another pilot was shot starring YouTube personalities Grace Helbig and Hannah Hart as ElectraWoman and DynaGirl. 11 episodes were combined into one really good pilot movie for a series. The tone, again, is quite satirical, but much more optimistic as ElectraWoman and DynaGirl go from the little leagues to the majors and have to deal with corporations and sponsorship, that sort of thing. Also nice to have characters like Frank return and the Empress of Evil from the original series. I am a huge fan of the series, and I remember it vividly, and this is like next to Land of the Lost, my favorite Krofft show. So there's not a lot of merchandise for it, but it did get a good amount for the single year it was on. The Krofft Super Show was a real popular thing. So I've been collecting everything I can find, and I thought I'd share with you my new acquisitions and a few of my favorites. Hang on. So first off, we've got this thermos. There is a gorgeous Krofft Super Show lunchbox, and it does feature a beautiful picture of ElectraWoman and DynaGirl. I do not own one. Just the stars haven't aligned. One day I'll find one. But I did find this thermos at a flea market for $2, and that went home with me. It is missing the lid and the top, but the thermos is the important part. I like the illustrations on this. You know, you've got all the representation of that year. You've got Wonderbug, Dr. Shrinker, and of course ElectraWoman and DynaGirl. And yeah, I'm a fan of all of these shows and collect the merch from it. This is something that a lot of folks might be familiar with, and that is the Viewmaster. Krofft Super Show got 2 Viewmasters that year. They got one that featured Wonderbug and Dr. Shrinker, and ElectraWoman just got her own Viewmaster reel, and they've captured a great episode with the Spider Lady. I always found her to be the most iconic of the ElectraWoman and DynaGirl villains, but that's probably because she features on not 1, but 2 pieces of the very small amount of merchandise out there. Speaking of the Spider Lady, this is the HG Toys puzzle. Puzzles are usually a safe bet. There is also a board game by Ideal Toys, which unfortunately I have not run into, but mark my words, I will not only track it down, but I will play it. Getting back to the HG Toys puzzle here, this is another still from that Spider Lady episode, and I wouldn't be surprised if the same photographer who did the Viewmasters didn't take this. This is one of my pride and joys, the Ben Cooper ElectraWoman Halloween costume. There is no way I would have ever worn this as a kid, but I do love and collect Halloween costumes based on some of my favorite characters, and I couldn't ask for more. It's also just a really nice, bright, and colorful Halloween costume in general. Now, before you ask, yeah, no, they're not officially licensed. These are the ElectraWoman and DynaGirl set from Mego Meet from 2017. There's a fellow by the name of Scott Aronson who puts together these wonderful little sets each Mego Meet, and I hope he continues this year. And this one is just a really special thing. He did ElectraWoman. DynaGirl was only available in an auction piece, but there was enough material to make another, and he made one for me, and I am very grateful. I love the idea of these. I would have loved if somebody did action figures of ElectraWoman and DynaGirl in the 70s. I wouldn't have bought them, but I would have wanted to buy them. A lot of folks in the Mego community would give their time and energy to making these, and the card art is done by my friend Chris Franklin, who also has contributed to Toy Ventures magazines. He designed things like the Puffy stickers, and he drew the Mr. Rock flyer for me, and he's working on something new now. So these are right over my desk as I work in the morning, and that's mainly because they really make me smile. They truly are one of my favorite things in my collection. Speaking of officially licensed action figures, we have this release from 2001, a company called Living Toys, and I remember being really excited about this. You know, somebody had the Sid and Marty Krofft license, and they launched with 4 figures, and this is the problem I have with this series. Well, first of all, that there was only 1 series. Living Toys did not return to make anything, sadly. But the other problem I had with it was the character selection. I love that they've included both Sigmund and HR Pufnstuf and ElectraWoman, but, well, there's just someone missing. You gotta lead with the Sleestack, folks. I just don't understand how this line did not lead a new toy line with what would have been the best-selling Krofft figure you could have released. The other heartbreaking thing about Living Toys is that first wave was honestly a nice series. They seemed to be of decent quality, and I was really happy with them. I'm not sure that's really a likeness of Deirdre Hall or if they didn't have that, but I'm okay with that. It was a solid action figure. The most disappointing thing is that we didn't get more of these nice toys. So that's kind of what I already have, and I want to show you the thing that has kept me up nights for years. Just a quick reminder that we do have a store where we have 9 issues of our Toy Ventures magazine named after this series. We've also got other merch like books and some collectible pins. If you like what we do on this channel, please check us out. Thanks a lot. Behold, my friends, the glory that is the ElectraWoman and DynaGirl Puzzler by Harmony. Yes, it's a rack toy. Yes, it has nothing to do with the series. And yes, they just slapped ElectraWoman on what appears to be just one of those slide puzzle games like what I gave out with issue 8 of Toy Ventures. All of this is true. And I gotta tell you, I love it. I absolutely love it. The first time I saw it in someone's collection, and I said, if you ever sell that, I'd love to get that. I missed a couple on eBay, but luckily, my friend Manuel, the other guy who really gets his TV rack toys, sold me his, and I won't say what I paid, but I felt it was a fair price. And this is just one of those things. I had to have it. I mean, I love rack toys. I wrote a book on it, and this is one of my favorite properties, and it doesn't have a lot of merchandise. This is all up my alley. I do have actually other Harmony rack toys based on other Krofft properties, especially the Super Show that I'll share if I haven't already. Harmony toys is one of those things that just amuses the heck out of me. They're hard to find, and when you do find them, they're often very weird. And some of their licensing choices are just oddball. So that as well gives this toy some layers for me. So that's it for me this week, folks. What I'd love to know from you is what your favorite Krofft show is. What merchandise would you collect from Krofft if you could? Let me know here in the comments below, or you can hit me up in our Facebook group, Pod Stallions. This is the stuff we talk about. Look for a new podcast this week and hopefully a mint off card, kind of a special episode. Thank you as always for joining me this week. If you are new to this, please consider hitting like and subscribe. And if you're not new to this, please share to a friend. It really helps us out. Until next time, folks, be well and talk toys, not others. Cheers.